What's going on? This your boy, Chris Simmons, coming to you with another podcast episode on this special episode with another special guest. She's actually a returning guest from a few episodes ago. She don't really need no introduction. She's the founder of Badass ATM. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miss Ursula Keith. What's going on with you, girl? How you doing?
Hey, Chris, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be back. Honestly, this is incredible. And I am just pumped for our topic today. I believe that we were just chatting before we started recording this episode, and we're like, I just want to get right into it. And I just want to talk all about our topic. So if you want to just kind of give everybody a short summary of what do you think this episode is going to be about?
Oh yeah, no. See, we were trying to come up with it because we had a great conversation last time about freeing yourself, and the conversation was so smooth. I said I need to have her back on, like for real. So I think like this topic is kind of relates to a lot of people's feelings and emotions and circumstances. And it's funny how we was having this conversation on what we want to do, and we just said, you know what? Why not just talk about the topic of fear, because a lot of us feel like that's real. I mean, I say fear is just non-existent because it's something that you make up in your mind, where it's like you try to talk down on yourself and have lack of self-confidence for yourself. But it's something that a lot of us face, and I feel like this was a great time to talk about it. So I'll just kind of just get right into it because we already kind of had a discussion. Usually I do small talk, but we already had a great small talk before the show. Ms. Ursula was catching me up on a lot of stuff that she had going on, but she'll definitely explain it as we continue to move into this episode. So, one of the things that I dealt with, when we talk about fear and we talk about, lacking self-confidence, which is really what fear is. I know that I've mentioned that I wrote a book and I've been writing a book, and I've been mentioning this on my podcast episodes, talking about how, my book is scheduled to come out in December. Okay. But at first, like, I had an idea. So this was an idea. This was like a goal that I had in the beginning of 2021. And I got this inspiration to do it because I actually saw my pastor do it. I saw my pastor, he was preaching a sermon, and he made an announcement saying, I'm gonna come out with a book this year. Like his book came out, I think it was in March or April of early this year. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I actually purchased his book, and I read it. I was like, man, like this is phenomenal. Like what he did was he took like some of his old sermons. He took some of his old sermons and just put it in a book. And it was like, it took off. Like it was like one of the best books I've ever read. And according to a lot of people, it also was one of the best books they ever read because it was just very, inspiring, influential, very spiritual. So anyway, I decided, I said, if my pastor can do this, I want to do this. I want to be able to have something with my name on it to where people can read it and people can get inspired by it. And so at first I was like, I was hesitant. And I was hesitant at first because, I was like, man, like, is what I'm going to write about, is it really going to blow up? Is it really going to, be able to reach the amount of people that I wanted to? And also I was hesitant because, when I remember in school, I remember my reading and writing skills, they were considered poor. Like I was told that my writing skills were not strong enough in school. And so I was, thinking like, man, like I've been told like in school that my writing was not good. Like, and I kept second guessing myself. I'm like, should I even write this book? Should I, go out and take this step? Like, what if it doesn't work? You know what I'm saying? Because, when I was in school, we took a lot of tests. There was a lot of standardized testing. One test that I remember taking was the ACT, the writing portion. I got that score. I got a 6 out of 12. So you get 12 possible points. I got 6 of that. So that's a 50%. I failed the writing portion of the ACT. And that ACT told me it said that your writing skills were not up to par. I mean, you weren't ready. So on a college readiness scale, I was not ready to take a writing class in college. And so, that kind of literally like that basically kind of lowers your self-confidence a little bit, and it makes you feel like, oh, I won't be a good writer, I won't be this. So what I had to do was I had to look past that, because sometimes that stuff that happens in your past can impact the decision that you make in the future. And so I had to tell myself, you know what? Forget what they said in the past. Forget that, because there's a lot of people who've been able to overcome stuff that people told them in their past and turn it into something great. And so I had to stop. I had to put my fear aside of saying of people saying, "Oh, I'm not good. Like I don't have my strong writing skills," like people saying. And I had to just continue to like let that go and continue to move forward, which is why I'm about to have my book published in December of 2021. So if you're looking for a Christmas gift, go ahead and get you one. I know Ursula, I know she's excited. I know she'll probably have to get herself a copy of my book. And so, yeah, I mean, I just had to like let that go, because, a lot of the things that people are afraid to try is because they're afraid of not having it turn out the way they want it to. But it's like, how would you know if you never tried it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
this could be like a bestseller in my opinion, but I would know if I let that fear stop me from writing that book. You know what I'm saying?
I completely agree, Chris. Like we usually stop ourselves even before we try. I love this quote where he says, "Don't let fear of what could happen make nothing happen."
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you do is you hold yourself back because you are thinking of what could go wrong, and because you're thinking of everything that could go wrong, you don't even start. And honestly, fear is, so if you were to lay down what fear is fear is false evidence appearing real. That means that it's an evidence that your brain creates, that it appears real to you because you're like, no, I'm not good enough. They told me I was not a good writer, blah, blah, blah. And it appears so real that we ended up getting fear. And our body has different reactions to it. So you either fight it, you flee, or you freeze. So you have like three things. So either you fight it, which is not usually what we do. We try to avoid the fighting. So either we fly, what is it? Wait, we flee. Man, I am having some English problems here. But what I'm saying is like, you just kind of want to get away from it. You just don't want
Yeah.
to confront it because holy crap, or you completely freeze with what is going on. But what if you were to fight it? What if you were to say to yourself, just like you did for your book,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I might not be a good writer, but I'm just going to write because I have good ideas that need to be put out to the world. And who cares? There's now editing softwares, there's people that edit people's writing. It doesn't matter, but it's the whole being uncomfortable with the fear and moving past it that's the hardest part. I personally, just so we are sharing some of our stories on how we've experienced fear recently. Let me tell you, I just quit my job. I quit my very comfortable, safe, well-paid engineering project management job. Yeah, I just did it because I decided that I wanted to follow my dream. I decided that coaching people and being able to talk and having like conferences and motivational speaking was the path that I want to follow. So I literally gave up the most comfortable lifestyle that I could have asked for. And I decided to go for it. But that didn't just come with confidence and courage. There's a lot of fear that came through that. Let me tell you, the first time I handed in my resignation to my boss, first I was excited. I was like, yes, I finally am free. I only have a couple of weeks out of this and then I'm good. A full long week after that, I had a full panic attack because I was like, holy crap, what did I just do? This is insane. Like, what am I going to do with my life? Because as you know, I believe on my last episode with you, I told you that I'm not originally from Canada. I'm from Mexico. And in Canada, I live on my own. That means that whatever happens is on me. It's my responsibility. I can't fall back on my family. I can't, nothing. It's on me. And it truly was scary because I'm like, what am I going to do? If this doesn't work, what am I going to do? I'm just going to be homeless on the street. And there was a point where I either could go back to my work and say, no, 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 you know what? Give me back my job, or fight it. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care. I'm going to deal with whatever emotions I'm fearing. I'm going to accept them and I'm going to go for it anyway. Story short, that's the first panic attack I had. Then 2 weeks ago, I finished my work. So that was a couple of weeks that I gave them as notice. Now I am fully an entrepreneur now. Like today, we are recording this episode midday because we are both entrepreneurs. We both make our own schedules. And I can tell you, just a couple of days ago, I had another full-on fear attack that I was like, what am I doing with my life? What did I just do? Why? Why am I putting myself through this? But the encouraging part of all of this is that, let's say that something doesn't work, you just have to pivot a little and you just have to try it again. Like you had a great quote that you told me, Chris. What was that you said just when I was telling you that maybe I could go back? And you said, no, there's this quote that I really like. What was it? What if you share it with us? It was
was it before the episode?
Yeah, before the episode.
I think the quote that I mentioned was how, I think it was like, why would you spend, your time doing something that you don't love? That was something I saw. Was that it? I think that was it, right?
That was it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Why would I go back to something I don't love? Maybe I'll just try it a little longer. I honestly am giving myself the bandwidth to try. But honestly, it's not an easy decision. Like what we did of either you putting out a book and me quitting my job are decisions that are not easy, take a lot of courage, and not everybody's ready to do them because there's a lot of fear of the unknown. And if you don't mind, I can tell you a little bit on how our brain it's pretty much a subconscious reaction. If you're okay, if I go and dive into that a little. Okay. This happens because I don't know if you've ever heard, but we have two types of brain in our mind. So we have what we call the ancient brain and the mastery brain. The ancient brain is the one that is scanning your environment and is looking for negative bias. That means that it will look for everything that could go wrong. And you know where this comes from? This comes from like the cave era man, where everybody was literally just looking for things that could kill them. And what happened is that our brain was literally scanning the environment and be like, oh my God, that person could kill you. That animal could kill you if you don't do this. Now, as we evolved, we continue with this, but now we're not going to die. And we live a very comfortable lifestyle, but our brain is trying to keep us comfortable, is trying to make us not feel that fear. Because as soon as it feels it, it's like, oh, all these signals and alarms. I was like, oh, what are you doing? Stop, don't do it. Now, as we evolved, we've created a new brain. And this new brain is called the mastery brain. It's the brain that makes us dream bigger. It makes us learn quicker and increases all our levels of productivity and all of that. But what happens is that you have a brain that is trying to keep you small. And then you have a brain that is trying to make you be better and challenge yourself. So they go into war. They don't want you, like there's the ancient brain, which it doesn't want you to go anywhere. It wants you to literally stay stuck because it likes the comfortable lifestyle. It likes the one where you protect it. And you have the other one pushing you, be like, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can dream bigger. Yes, you can publish your book. Yes, you can quit your job. Yes, you can follow your dreams. When this happens, the ancient brain literally puts all these alarms. It's like, what are you doing? But the reality is that in order for you to grow and have personal growth, you have to go through that uncomfortable movement and just do it, even if you don't feel like you're ready, and act literally when you are scared shitless and you still have to do it because you're like, well, how would I know that I'm good at it if I never tried? Just like as you said. So how do you like the story of how our brain is literally subconsciously telling us not to do something and keeping us comfortable?
Well, first of all, I haven't heard it put in that way, but I definitely was interested when you was talking about it because I can definitely see where you was going with that. Because yes, we do have different sides to our brain. We have different voices that tell us different things in our brain, and they kind of collide together. You know what I'm saying? It's like an all-out war. It sounded like it was a war going on in the brain. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not really a scientific type of person, but I can just break it down and just kind of break down what you were saying for the people who was probably like, what? What she was really saying is that the brain goes to war every day because the brain goes to war with decisions that you have to make. Maybe there's one side of your brain telling you, oh, let's go out and let's go accomplish something that's bigger than us, and then you got one side of your brain that's telling you, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to be comfortable, man. Like that's too hard. Like, I don't want to go out and start that business. I don't want to quit this job making money. Like, I'm comfortable here. Like, I'm getting benefits. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting a salary. But it's like, what I'm saying, in order to really, really live your best life, man, you got to do something that's like unimaginable. Because first of all, I'm a spiritual person. In case you don't know this, I'm a spiritual person. I believe that in Luke chapter 1, verse 37, it says, nothing is impossible through God. I just believe that quote. I mean, I live by that quote. Nothing is impossible. So I had to take that and just be able to apply it to my life and understand that, nothing is impossible. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that is impossible through God. There's nothing I can't do out here. And so I had to really live by that quote. And that's why I continue to, write my book. I continue to do this podcast. I have dreams of being able to travel around the world. I have dreams of being able to, just make an impact in millions and billions of people's lives. And, I'm not afraid to dream big because of that. I'm not afraid to dream big because, of what that quote says, because I just believe in a big guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
it's funny that you say that, because I don't know, obviously on the podcast they can't see this, the recording, but I have this quote behind me which it says, nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible. And what you're saying is you are possible, and if God and who you are and your essence is there's nothing impossible. You can do anything. You can go and do anything that you wish. And you, as you said, like, we should be dreaming bigger. But as we get older, I don't know if you've noticed, but the older that we get, our dreams shrink.
mm-hmm.
And we are like, no, I don't think I can do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not as lucky as other people. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Because I realized, like, remember when you was a kid, you just be like, I want to be this, I want to be that. You know what I'm saying? You have all these big dreams, and then all of a sudden when you get older, people try to, diminish them because they look at them as like, oh, that's not realistic. Oh, that's not real. That's not possible. So what that's doing is affecting your mind. See, all fear is, when people say I'm scared, I'm afraid, first of all, that don't exist. How do I know it doesn't exist? Because like I said, I'm a spiritual person. So I'll go reference the scripture in the Bible that tells you that it's not real. So if you go to Second Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, it literally says in the King James Version that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but the power and love of a sound mind. So that literally tells you right here that it does not exist. So what is fear? So what is it? It's just the lack of self-confidence you have in yourself. That's all it is. It's just lack of self-confidence that you don't believe in yourself. So really, in order to, get rid of this fear that you have, I put fear because not real, in order to get rid of it, you must believe in yourself. And I know it's like, there has to be more to it. There has to be, like, you thinking like there's a whole course, there's a whole 5-step process. No, all it is, you guys got to believe, and you got to trust in your abilities, and you got to trust in your gifts. See, we've all been given a gift. The 1%, I was talking about the 1%. The 1% are the people who activate their gifts. See, I also remember, I love quotes. So I also remember seeing another quote. It said 97% of the people work for the 3% that choose to never give up. So you just have to believe that where you're going, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to see it all the way through. And you just got to, be married to the process.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, Chris. I was just going to say on that belief, I believe that is like a muscle that you can exercise the muscle. So and whenever you are, let's say you don't believe on yourself right now. Let's say for whatever reason, whomever is listening to us is like, no, I don't believe in myself, man. This is a muscle that you can stretch and you can work. So let's say that you have muscles in your body, and whenever you're like strengthen them, they become stronger. honestly. And this is just like that. So whenever you don't believe in yourself, but you do something that just makes you believe in yourself just a little bit, or you just go through an exercise that makes you uncomfortable, but you did it anyways, you stretch that muscle, you stretch your belief in yourself just a little, then a little bit more and a bit more until you believe in yourself so much that you are literally unapologetically who you are, and you are just sharing your story and your belief to everybody that you meet because you believe in yourself so much. But it's definitely not something that comes overnight, but it's something that can be built and can be developed and can get you to where you want to be.
Mhm.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
no, you're right. No, you're right. I think it is like it's like like you were saying, like it is a muscle that you have to continue to continue to build and continue to work on. One thing, that I feel like, with today and social media, it has really, oh man, I've been watching a lot of documentaries about social media, man. And it's just crazy, man, like how people will literally go on there and try to compare themselves and try to think that what they're doing is not enough. And I feel like that's where it comes into play is like, everybody wants to be able to do big things, but they're not necessarily willing to put in the work because social media has made it seem like, oh, like I can be able to be this successful person in 30 days. In 30 days, you can make $1 million. In 30 days, if you don't get it back in 30 days, I'm gonna get your money back. Like,
because everybody wants something like this. We are so used to getting getting feedback like this, which is like a bunch of likes. As soon as you post a photo, you get a bunch of likes. And we are so used to being everything like this. You open the internet and your browser just goes like quick. But what if it doesn't happen like that? That is the key. Like the key thing to success is being able to show up even when the environment is not changing. Like how many times you were doing your podcast and you were like, man, nothing, nobody's watching, nobody's hearing it, nobody, like there was nothing, quote unquote, happening, but you didn't know that it was developing. It was growing almost like roots that you couldn't necessarily see, but it is those moments that you have to continue showing up even when you think nothing is happening. And that is the difference between people that succeed and people that quit too early, because the feedback or the success doesn't happen overnight. And you and I both know that. They sell us on this because that is a marketing strategy. Let me make you $1 million tomorrow. And you're like, yes, but nobody's willing to put on the work and to sustain the work even when you don't have the $1 million tomorrow. And that is the craziest thing. But it all comes from social media and how it's taught us that unless you're on the top, then you're not there, then might as well not even start because you're never gonna get there. But what if you could start little by little, and then one day in a couple of years, because nobody tells you about their journey. Nobody talks to about those years where they were nobody. All you see is this great person, and it's like, what happened to those years when they just started, when they were just like you and I, just hugging and having a conversation between different people that were on their same level, and then suddenly they continued and they got to where they are. So what are your thoughts on that?
yeah, no, I was gonna say like, a lot of people, develop this feeling of fear because of, like we talked about earlier, uncertainty. Like, they'll be trying something, they'll see somebody doing something amazing, they'll see somebody with a successful business, they'll see somebody with, all these, different accomplishments, and they'll think, oh, I can just do this, if I try it, I'll see instant results. And I feel like that's when people start to, go through the process and see, oh man, I'm not really seeing this right away. I'm not seeing, the results take off right away. That's when people get scared and they're like, well, let me just turn back, let me just give up on it because, I'm not seeing what this other person on social media is seeing. Like, I'm not seeing the million followers. I'm not seeing the money come in. I'm not seeing the engagements or anything like that through the process. And that's why a lot of people turn back. That's why a lot of people just say, if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to what I was doing. I'll go back to that job that I didn't like because, it wasn't like I didn't see the instant results. I thought in 30 days I was going to be able to see this, but, now I don't see it. So I'm just going to, just give up on it. See, if you do that, you literally just, basically like, why you need to retreat? Why would you retreat? You know what I'm saying? Why not keep going? Like, you already started. Why not just continue to keep going and see what happens? You know what I'm saying? That's why people never stick with anything. That's why a lot of people, they give up too soon. And it's like success is not built overnight. It's just like I used this analogy yesterday when I was talking to one of my friends. We was having a cookout yesterday. I actually put some wings on the grill. That was the bomb.
Oh,
So
nice.
we was having a good cookout, and we were just sitting there while the wings was cooking. We were talking. We were having some real conversations. We were having some like deep conversations, and we was talking about a lot of things. And one thing that I mentioned to him is like, man, it's just crazy how people just want this overnight success. It's just crazy how people are just willing to just give up just like that, like a snap of a finger, just because they ain't seeing something work. I said, listen, if you look at a building, you look at a building structure. A lot of buildings, are able to stand strong because they have a good foundation, and it took time to build those things. The buildings that were rushed. I think there was one. I think it was like I forget. I forget. It was like a building that was built somewhere. I remember learning about this in school. I can't remember it, but I remember watching the documentary about it and talked about how I think it was like some type of hotel that was built, and they was rushing the process, and all of a sudden like the building fell down, and it killed a bunch of people because they were trying to rush it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to take the time to really go through the process. They were like, I need this up. I need to get this up off the ground so I can be able to make the money that is needed. But in reality, it really cost them money because it didn't take them. It took them to it. They didn't take time to build it. So all of a sudden, it just cost them money because they had to pay for all the damages. It cost a lot of people's lives. It actually was more of a liability instead of an asset. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at a building, you look at how it's structured. You look at the foundation. It took time. Sometimes it takes years, depending on how big the building is. It takes years. You see all them skyscrapers downtown. It took years to build all that. You know what I'm saying? Rome was not built in a day. I mean, we've heard that one. Rome was not built in a day. So you just got to understand that as you're going through the process, don't retreat. Don't retreat. Just keep going. Because like I said, you will never know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's just gonna happen like that.
Yeah.
Every successful person had to, continue to keep fighting through challenges. It's like Amazon. Jeff Bezos. I didn't even know this company existed. I think I mentioned this one time. This company was around in like the 1990s, like before I was born. I didn't even know it existed till like 2017, 2018, really. Because my mama bought something off of there. She's like, you ever use Amazon? I'm like, what is that? And all of a sudden now it's like basically $1 trillion company. But it started like over 20 years ago. And now look where it's at. But the thing is, it didn't stop. It just kept going. Like, even though they may have felt like, oh, I need to turn back. But that's what happens when you keep going, you know, and you just continue to trust in the process, you're gonna see it pay off.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say there's a quote now that we're doing a bunch of quotes that says sometimes you're too close to the value to see it. And sometimes you're so close to what you're doing to see like what you're actually changing in the world. And this happens when you're doing your business. Let's say when you're doing your podcast right now, you're like, oh, well, I'm just putting podcasts out, but you don't know what other people are honestly thinking of it and how much they're benefiting from this. Something happened to me recently. I thought I would tell you a story on personally. As I said, I just made the transition, and in the past 2 weeks, there's been moments when I'm like, holy crap, what did I do? Maybe I should go back. And the whole idea is obviously not to do that and to continue. But sometimes you just need something to say, hey, I should keep going just a little bit more. And this happened to me where somebody that, okay, so this is how it happened. There's a girl that does my lashes because, as a girl, you need to get all prettied up and all the good things. A year ago, I had talked to her. I had just started my YouTube channel at the time. And at the time, she was working at a salon where she was renting a space where she would do her lashes for her own clients. And at the time when I started doing my YouTube channel, I was like motivating. I just wanted to tell everybody that they could change their reality if they wanted to by changing their mindset and like visualizing what they wanted to do and blah, blah, blah. This was just what I was doing because I was learning it to do my YouTube channel. At that time, she was doing my lashes. I don't remember whatever she was doing, but I was telling her about this. He was one of the first persons I ever told that I was taking this somewhat different journey than my career. No big deal. This happened a year ago. I haven't seen her in a year. And I had the opportunity to see her 2 days ago. And when I put the address, I didn't realize that it was a different address. When I get there, she had a full on, like, whatever, spa or salon, whatever you want to call it, of like lashes, where she was getting full on clients. When I come in, I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This is amazing. Congratulations. And then she looks at me, she's like, Ursula, I was so looking forward to seeing you again, because all of this was thanks to you. All of this, I wouldn't have done it if you didn't push me at the time and tell me you should put your own place, because you deserve it. You can do this. I didn't know, I had no idea. I just showed up and I was like, oh, you can do this. You definitely can change your reality. You can get your own place, blah, blah, blah. But you never know how much of your impact can be. And today, that was the only thing I needed to be like, okay, Ursula, keep going. You can do this. You are actually doing what you're meant to do. Because at the time when that happened, I wasn't even trying to be a coach. I wasn't trying to even motivate people to follow their dreams. I was just being happy that I found a way on how to change my life. So I wanted everybody to change theirs. But it's so cool that to sometimes just look for something that you made a difference to the world, even when you can't see it. And what if you could stick to it a little longer? What if you can just keep going and just don't let fear stop you? I guess that's my conclusion of my whole story.
That was good. Right? I mean, I like that story because I feel like we've all had those moments where, somebody will come into our lives and, we'll like be talking to them just like on the side. You know what I'm saying? And like all of a sudden, you see them again, they're like, man, like you really made a difference. I,
Yeah.
I kind of had like something similar happen to me, like, with a friend that he was getting caught up in all this different stuff, activity. He was real into smoking weed and drinking and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But, I remember talking to him. I said, man, you can get your life together, bro. You know what I mean? I said, man, I told him because I'm a spiritual person. I don't believe in doing that. And so I told him, I said, I just don't do this because, I'm spiritual. Like, I'm more into following God versus like, what the world does. I live my life different. And I was talking about, my beliefs and my values and my spirituality and stuff like that. And I remember like, over time, like a year later, this man ended up getting baptized. I was like, man. And I remember like he called me on the phone one day. He's like, Chris, man. I said, what's good, bro? He's like, man, I just want to say thank you, man. I was like, for what? I said, I want to, thank you for, just being able to talk to me, being able to, turn my life around, help me to get on the right path. And now to this day, like he's been clean, like, what I mean? Like he's, been into the word of God and he's been, following by faith. And, it just goes to show like, you don't know what type of impact you may be making, if, you continue to give up. Like if you give up, man, like you would never see that. Like if you give up, like you would never see the type of real impact. And I can say the same thing for this podcast. Like at first, like when I did this podcast, like it was just me in my basement, and I was like, you know what? I put episodes out there, and I get 1-2 people listening. I'm like, bro, is this working? I was like, anybody listen? I'm like, I know I'm putting fire out here. I'm like, is anybody even listening to this thing? And there was a point I was like, bro, I'm like, man, I'm about done. But then I just kept going and going and going. And I remember like, the positive feedback. I was getting, I got family who know I got this, I got friends, like people don't even know. They were like, I remember I went to one of my dad's friends' house over the summer. It was like, yo, Chris, man, I listened to your podcast. I was like, what? I was like, I didn't even know you knew I had one. I never told you. You're like, yeah, man, listen to it, man. It's awesome, man. That's how I started. He started telling other people about it, and people started listening to it. People started following me. But it just goes to show you, like, you just got to continue to keep, going through the process. Even though you don't see it right away, you just got to continue to keep moving.
And you have to start, like, so you have to go get over your fear and start, because if you wouldn't have gotten to where you are even today, not only if you had continued, but if you hadn't started one day and said, you know what, frick, like, I don't care what my fear is of nobody quote unquote is going to listen to this. I'm just going to do it. And you did it. And that is the key thing, is how can you take the uncomfortable action to get you started today on something that you want to do, whatever that is.
Yes, ma'am. And before we wrap up, because it, you know what I'm saying, like, we did talk a lot. We talked a lot, and it's only been like 35 minutes, but I feel like we went over a lot of things in that 35 minutes. Ms. Ursula, since you are, you know, into the entrepreneur thing, why don't you, like, you know, describe your business a little bit? I'm sure people probably like, what is badass ATM? Like, what does she do? You know, so
Yes.
describe the listeners, like, what you be doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Chris, for allowing me to share a little bit more about my whole business entrepreneurial type life here. I am the founder of, as you said, Badass ATM Alignment Method, but that all comes from my company called Badass Mindset. And Badass Mindset, I created it to help people, motivate people really to follow their dreams, and to let them know that really our mindset is one of our biggest assets, but is the one thing that could either make you or break you. And if we are not able to control our minds, not control it, but be able to deal with all of these fears, with all of these limiting mindset, limiting beliefs, if we are not able to see them, we're probably just going to stay where we are, and you're not going to get ahead in your life. So what do I do is I'm a what I call a mindset coach, but sometimes some people don't understand that because I focus more on the mind, but you could use it, or you could translate it to a life coach. A life coach would be somebody like Tony Robbins, which everybody knows Tony Robbins. Somebody that has made a huge name for himself. And it's this whole thing where you challenge the belief of somebody else. You challenge them to be better. You plan with them, okay, where is it that you are now? Where is it that you want to go? And how can we make you get there? Because there's absolutely no reason why you can't be there. It's let's say I would have coached you when you first started doing your book, and you telling me all these beliefs where, you know what, I'm not good enough. They always told me that I was not good at writing, blah, blah, blah. And what if I could challenge those beliefs and be like, hey, one, you should start writing, even if he has typos, even if he has everything, but just throw it out there. Because two, there are public, whatever, these agencies that could correct your writing. So you shouldn't stop yourself just because you're not good at writing. Or let's say that you said, nobody's going to read my book. Do you know that? Is that true? So I'm the person that would challenge your beliefs and challenge and tell you what you don't want to hear, which is, yes, you can do it. Like, there's absolutely no reason why we can't find a way to make it happen. So I'm that person. I am the person that pushes you to be better, to where you want to go. It depends on the person. I can't say that everything is the same, but that's what I do. I'm a coach. I love to do motivational speaking. So I'm a speaker as well. Hence the reason I am here. And I'm loving just to speak about all these fun topics about taking leaps of faith, talking about fear, but mostly is pushing people to follow their dreams. I hope that explains it. That was a big rant on what do I do, and the last thing I want to say is badass. The word badass is a word that people might feel offended by it. Honestly, some people might not necessarily, they're like, Ursula, did you just call your business badass? Yes, I did. But let me explain to your following and everybody here that what does the word badass really mean to me? Because I mean no offense to anybody. I absolutely mean no offense to anybody. I love the word because badass means something that's out of the ordinary. It doesn't fit the norm, and it is truly exceptional. There's nothing like it. It's completely unique. For me, what I call the badass woman or a badass person is a strong person, a strong woman, a woman who doesn't fit the status quo, a woman who knows her worth, a woman who will do anything and everything to accomplish their dreams, somebody that believes in themselves and needs themselves unapologetically. So you show up as you are and you succeed. That is for me what badass is, and that's the whole mindset behind my name of my business. That's it.
Now you heard it. So let me break it down. So what she was saying is that she just helps transform your mind to become a badass, become somebody who you didn't think you could be.
Exactly.
That's the summary of the verse. You probably like, what is he talking about? Don't worry, she's just trying to encourage you. That's all she's trying to do, just encourage you, just trying to, get you, into a place in your life to where you can, feel like you can conquer the world. That's really what it is. But anyway, yes, that was great. I love the description. I think me and Ms. Ursula, this will definitely not be the last of us because we'll definitely be trying to team up. I would definitely try to work with Miss Ursula on this since it seems like we're trying to do the same thing, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Trying to transform your mind. So, like I said, like, you know, that's important. It all starts with the mind. It's a mind body connection, right? If you can't, if your mind is thinking something, that's how your body gonna react. So if your mind is thinking you can do something, your body's going to react that way. If your mind is telling you can't, then your body is going to say it can't, and it's not going to be able to move. So it all starts with the mind. But anyway, that's a wrap for this show. Just reminder, follow me on Instagram at Disinfecting Your Life. That's no spaces, no capitals. Once again, follow me on Instagram at Disinfecting Your Life. And also check out Miss Ursula's Instagram at Your Badass Mindset Coach. No spaces, no capitals. So again, follow Miss Ursula Keith on Instagram at Your Badass Mindset Coach. That's a lot. No spaces, no capitals, but I also put the link in the bio. I also put the link in the description, just so it can be easier. And also check her out, see what she got going on. You know what I'm saying? She got a lot of information on there. You know what I mean? And yeah, you'll be able to know everything that you need to know on that Instagram page. So definitely go check her out. Also follow us on Twitter, or follow me on Twitter, excuse me, at This In Your Life One. So once again, for those of you who use Twitter, follow me on Twitter at DISN Your Life and the number one. And then also for my older generation who still use Facebook, follow me on Facebook at Disinfect Your Life. Once again, follow me on Facebook at Disinfect Your Life. It's a community page, so you'll see all the updates and all the latest and greatest. But mainly, just follow me whatever you use, you can follow me. I'm on multiple platforms. You can't miss me, bro. You can't miss me. And also, just remind you guys, get the fall merch, baby. I got it right here. My sweatshirts came out. Step towards your purpose. You already know if you're looking for some fall gear, definitely go check it out. Check it out. If you're on my Instagram, click the link in the bio and then click the merch tab, and you'll be able to see I got sweatshirts and I got t-shirts as of right now. So definitely go get your father apparel, man. Like I said, we going places, maybe. We going places. Like I always say, we going places. We might have a TV show. I might have a TV show. I might be on the radio. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. I might go on tour. I might go to your city. I might pull up in your city, speak somewhere. You just never know with me. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. Have no fear. That's the title of this episode. Have no fear. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all I got. Ms. Ursula, you want to say anything before we head off?
No, no, no. Thank you so much. As I said, yes, follow me. Follow me on Instagram. I have also a YouTube channel. If anybody wants to follow me there, it's Ursula Keith. That's how you can find the YouTube channel. That's much easier than Your Badass Mindset Coach. But you can follow me there. Also Facebook, as you said, for the older generation, which that includes me. It would be Facebook for Ursula Keith as well. That's how you can find me. I'm just looking forward for whatever is that comes next to for you and me in our lives. Looking forward to working with you again. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No problem. All right, you heard it here first, y'all. This your boy, Chris Simmons, alongside special guest, Ursula Keith. We out. Take care, y'all. Peace.